Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. We're going to have a look today at the energy between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Oh, that's interesting. Before we even start, we have a card of planning and action. So I'm going to keep that there because that looks like it's significant. Welcome, by the way, if you're joining us for the first time. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. But let's get into the energy, please, Spirit, of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. What is going on in this connection, please, at the moment? What is going on in the connection? Look at this, kindred partnership. Interesting. Yeah. How interesting that's come out, you know, as the first card. Well, beyond that one. Interesting. I love the fact that we started with planning and action. What do we have here? We have family. What else, please, Spirit? What else do we have between the divine masculine and the divine feminine? We have fear. One more, please. One more, please. We have the Ascended Masters. So, interesting. There looks like in the background there's a lot of planning and action going on at the moment. So I take this as planning in order to be able to take action. That's kind of how it feels. And I really get a sort of a background vibe from this. I think Spirit threw this out first because they wanted us to know that regardless of how we're feeling, if we're seeing no physical evidence of action in the 3D, Spirit wanted us to know that in the background there is planning going on that we don't know about. And it's planning leading to action. Okay, so, you know, it's significant that that was thrown out first before I even asked the question. And it really does feel like a strong message. The other thing I get from this card, look at the size of this building. Look how solid it looks. And it feels like that this planning is about wanting to take action towards something solid, divine femmes or divine masculines if you're watching. It feels like this planning is all going to happen again in divine timing. We have this... it's a pocket watch. That's what the phrase I was looking for. A pocket watch here. And, you know, it feels like it's leading to something really, really solid. The plans are definitely underway, but it's not quite time yet for whatever reason. I'm not at all surprised to see the Kindred Partnership card coming up in a twin flame reading. And of course, you know, I think there's been a lot of shifts going on for both the divine feminine and the divine masculine over the past year. But I do feel, particularly for the divine masculines, I keep getting the feminine in my mind, I don't know why, but for the divine masculine there has been a huge awakening in recent months. And I do think that he's recognising this partnership more and more and more. He knows where he wants to be. He knows that there's this deep connection between the two of you that he can't escape from and he doesn't want to escape from. So, you know, I do feel that it's the divine masculine who is doing this planning, okay? He may not fully understand why he's doing it. I think for some of them, it depends which stage of the journey they're on. You know, if they're just starting their awakening, then they may be completely confused about why they seem to be making steps to be in contact with you again or to you know, actually be with you again. But for those divine masculines who've been doing their awakening, it almost feels like, you know, they now know where they want to be. And this is really something solid. You know, this planning is really important. You know, for some of you, the divine masculine wants to set up a family with you. Families can take all sorts of shapes and forms, you know, so whether it's just the two of you, whether it's just, you know, they want to have children with you, they're thinking a lot about what they want from their relationship with you. For others of you, it may be that a part of the delay, part of the divine timing is about the fact that they're having to deal with issues around a family setting. Maybe some of them are already in a family setting. Maybe some of them, you know, have children with someone else. And, you know, maybe that is what they're trying to plan around, because, you know, now there is a child, or there are children in the mix. So it has to be handled quite carefully. I do get the feeling that the divine masculine is still feeling quite fearful. This comes up quite a lot. You know, the divine masculine has been sort of rocked by this relationship, this twin flame relationship, you know. And, you know, there's a part of him that's thinking, is this for real? You know? Am I the only one that feels these feelings, or does my divine feminine feel these feelings too? You know, there's a lot of fear there for him. There's also a fear as to whether or not, if he takes this sort of leap, will you be there to pick him up, divine femme? You know, there's a part of him that wonders whether or not you'll accept him, or whether you will reject him, basically. So, yeah, a lot of fear around there. But, you know, what you need to know is that the Ascended Masters are very much at work here, you know. You have people in spirit who are, you know, they are very, very powerful. And, you know, the Ascended Masters are so important, because here they are guiding this relationship, and, you know, heading for the outcome that you're all hoping for. And it's not just about what you want. This, how do I explain this? I'm getting my words all muddled up tonight. So it feels like this, again, is a strong, powerful message, because I don't know if any of you saw the reading I did, I think it was last week, or it may have been the beginning of this week, where I got real bad headaches. Well, I'm actually now getting a real headache again. So there's a lot of powerful energy around the twin flame connection at the moment. And, you know, to all intents and purposes, this card explains why. The Ascended Masters are really pushing through the barriers at the minute, you know. So if you're not seeing doorways opening up in this connection yet, then be assured that they are on their way, because, you know, once the Ascended Masters are at work, then, you know, things start moving. Here we have the infinity symbol, you know. This is for the long term, you know. Infinity, you don't get any longer than that, do you, frankly? So, yes, there are practical arrangements to be made. Yes, the divine masculine is still overcoming his fear, you know. Also, you know, there are divine feminines who are also extremely fearful. You know, sometimes we stand back and say, look, the divine masculine should do this and the divine masculine should do that. But sometimes I think, gosh, you know, when the divine masculine suddenly appears in front of you, how will you handle that divine femme? You know, especially if you've waited a long time. So we need to be mindful of the energy we're putting out. I think that at the moment, because we have this hugely strong connection in the 5D, as I said in a previous reading, we need to be sending all the loving, reassuring energy we can to our divine masculine to help him overcome this fear at this moment in time. Right, what else, please? What else can you tell us about this partnership at the moment? How are we going to be moving forward? What can you tell us, please, Spirit? What can you tell us, please, Spirit? Oops. What is happening here? What's at play? Thank you. Okay, so we have present power. So someone is standing in their power at the moment. This does feel very much like the divine masculine to me. I mean, obviously there's a man on the card. Do remember that these energies can be masculine or feminine. Just because, you know, I say it's the divine masculine, it could be the masculine part of the divine feminine, you know. So let's see what else. This is very much about him standing in his power. you know, trying to overcome these fears, because he knows that he's got to step up here. He knows that, you know, if he wants this relationship in the 3D, then he needs to be powerful, he needs to be strong, and he needs to go for it. Yeah, he's maybe scared of losing something here. Now, you know, we see flowing emotions here, okay? But it's very much about, you know, all that he's holding in his hand, all the emotion he's holding is flowing away from him at the moment. So he is scared of losing out here. So for some of you, especially because it's come in line with the family card here, it may well be that he is scared of you know, losing contact with his children. He's scared of being denied contact with his children. There is definitely this fear of loss. For some of you, it will be about him being scared of losing his divine feminine. Okay, he knows that if he doesn't step up quickly, he's in danger of his divine feminine being with someone else. You know, in his head, that is what he's worried about. But also, as I say, because it's in line with the family card, it does kind of feel that he's scared of losing that connection with children. Please let me know if that resonates, by the way. Yeah, we have the higher self card, and you know, while he's feeling this fear, Spirit are saying, you know, they are helping him. The Ascended Masters are helping him to really connect with his inner self, with his higher self, to have that courage to actually step forward and fulfill this relationship, which is what he's being guided to do. Okay, so, you know, they are assisting on that level, and anything we can do as divine feminines is going to help that process. So as I said, if we are sending loving energy, reassurance through the 5D, through the telepathic links that we have, in the True Twin Flame connection, there is always that telepathic link, because you are one soul. So, you know, anything that we can do that is reassuring and helping that process, then we're being called to do that, Divine Fems. So what else, please, Spirit? Back and forth. Yeah, you see, at the moment, he's being put under pressure, under spiritual pressure, if you like. That sounds heavy. I don't mean it to sound heavy. He's being encouraged. He's being encouraged a lot, shall we say, which is what I meant by pressure at the moment, to grow beyond the sort of coming and going energy, which you may have witnessed from him in the past. So, you know, if your contact with your divine masculine has been sort of back and forth, you know, it's been sort of sporadic, that's the word I was looking for, then, you know that this is what the Ascended Masters are working on. You know, for some of you, you may well get contact. If you've not been in contact, you may get contact from your divine masculine very soon, or vice versa. If you're a divine masculine watching, you may get contact from your divine feminine soon, but it may still be a bit to and fro in terms of the contact. But this is what again the Ascended Masters are working on. And that could be not, because none of this sort of energy, this back and forth energy, isn't about him questioning his feelings for you. It's about his confidence levels. It's about him having to sort out practical issues. You know, it's all about this planning that he's doing. It's also about this fear that he's having, because, you know, if he's fearful of rejection, he may well come in with very light energy, very playful energy, and just test the water a bit before he goes into really deep planning. You know, the planning, I do feel that because we were given that first, I do feel that he's planning anyway, but part of that plan is to test the water, to see how he's received before he makes any big dramatic changes regarding his current circumstances. You know, and that does look like he's under some pressure to handle that situation carefully, because he's worried about, you know, losing his children or losing access to children in some way. Yeah, interesting. Okay, let me just have a drink of water because I'm getting a real headache again. These twin flame readings at the moment, as I say, for some reason, I'm getting big headaches every time I do them. And what was interesting was after the last reading, several of you contacted me, or several of you commented, to say that you also have been suffering big headaches recently. So I do think this is a part of our major awakening. Let's see what is happening regarding this planning and action. Spirit, please can we see what is happening? Can you give us a couple of cards, please, if possible, for the planning and action energy? What is happening regarding this planning? Thank you. Yeah, you see, he's it almost feels like he's involving other people in this planning, which is really interesting. Yes, they're in a celebratory mode here, but it feels like it's there's going to be other people around who are happy about this. Now, that is really interesting because in recent readings that we've had regarding the divine masculine making these changes, he's had lots of people around him who've been sort of negative and trying to keep him where he is. But this is almost like him feeling, and I've not read this card in this way before, but this is what's coming to me, that he feels that other people will be quite happy for him if he makes these changes. So maybe those people who are around him who were negative before are realizing that he's not happy in the situation that he's in, you know, whatever that situation is for him. Yeah, look, it's the beginning of clarity. So maybe, as I said, maybe people around him are beginning to see, see it for what it is and realize that he's not happy and see things more clearly. Maybe they're beginning to take responsibility for their actions and their influence around this situation, you know. But also this is about the divine masculine seeing things more clearly. I don't only think it's the divine masculine. I feel also that, you know, that applies to this whole situation, that there will be clarity coming to this connection very, very soon, if it hasn't started already. Some of you commented in the last video to say that your divine masculine had suddenly contacted you out of the blue, you know, after a while of not hearing from them, you know. So these changes are beginning to happen in the collective. Why do we have kindred partnership? Yeah. Again, we get this card every single time I pull from this deck, every single twin flame reading, because we know we're working with divine timing. So this is no surprise. We have a stopwatch on the planning and action card up there. So again, we're still dealing with divine timing. There are still things to be cleared before the divine masculine is in a position to freely step forward. So regarding this kindred partnership, yes, you know, he's wanting this kindred partnership, you're wanting this kindred partnership, you're wanting it in the 3D, but there is still some waiting time. He has the key to undo this chain, but he's not quite in a position to do it. And something really bizarre has just come to my notice. We have stripy leggings that match the lighthouse. So it's almost like we need this waiting time before the way can be lit, you know? We also have a stripy balloon. So maybe this is about before we can step into freedom and the way can be lit, we have to actually wait because the timing isn't quite right yet. How interesting that was. Let's put that just there. So why do we have family energy? What's happening with this family energy? He's going to have to be strong regarding a situation where family are concerned. So, you know, yes, he's scared about losing out on a situation where children are concerned. But, you know, if he's not happy in the situation he's in, he's going to have to gather all his strength. He's going to have to be careful where he puts his attention as well. You know, it's almost like in order to heal what's going on, because you see this almost like, is this a volcano? Is it a volcano? Is it a typhoon? Whatever it is. I'm not very good with weather things. But, you know, whatever this is, he needs the strength to calm down that situation and to keep it peaceful. So, as I said earlier, you know, if he has worries about missing out on being with children, etc., or having access to children, then, you know, he's got to find a way to smooth that out, but he's got to be strong to do it. And, you know, what's eating away at him at the moment is this fear energy. So let's see what needs to happen with this fear energy, please. What needs to happen with the fear energy, Spirit, please? Yeah, you see, here he is. He's got to be brave enough to choose his new path, you know. He knows he wants to be with you, Divine Femme. You know, if you're a Divine Masculine watching, if this applies to you, you know, you thought you'd built something really nice in your current circumstances, but you need to, you know, be brave enough, overcome this fear to be able to walk down the path that is for your highest good and will serve you better. Okay. Excuse me. So what's the Ascended Masters trying to tell us here, please? Yeah, okay. The Ascended Masters are trying to encourage the Divine Masculine to hold on to what he thinks is right. He has lots of offers, but he also has lots of people putting him under pressure to take those offers, whatever those offers are, whether they be employment, whether they be sort of, you know, family pressures, whether they be, you know, other people who would like to be with the Divine Masculine. The Divine Masculine needs to hold on to the one that he believes in, which is you, Divine Femme. And the Ascended Masters are guiding him through the chaos. And it does feel like a bit of chaos there. You know, they are actually guiding him in the right direction and encouraging him to hold on to what he needs to. What interests me in this context is this black cat. It's almost like the Ascended Masters are manifesting themselves into this card in this black cat to sort of guard the Divine Masculine from all these people that want a piece of him, you know? So, why do we have present power? What else can you tell us about the present power, please? What else can you tell us about the present power, please? Thank you. Yeah, look, he's really got to step into his power in the present. You know, it's not a time to sort of live under any illusion. It's not time to sort of, you know, stay small, basically. This is all about stepping up, and he really has got to step into his present power. You know, look at this reflection here. We have a small cat here that is appearing as a jaguar in the lake, you know. He has to be able to step into his jaguar presence at the moment to overcome the hurdles that are in front of him. And it's also about overcoming those fears, as we said earlier. So what's this decrease energy about, please? What's this decrease energy about? Yeah, look, he's got to keep himself calm. He's got to, you know, take that time to contemplate and really think things through. He's going to need some time on his own. He's feeling under a lot of pressure regarding his current circumstances, you know. And he's not got to let his fears get in the way of him being able to move forward. So, you know, really the Divine Masculine needs to be here. He needs to be tapping into his own wisdom to work out the best plan for the way forward. Okay, so, you know, the more moments of peace he can take for himself, the better. And, you know, it's an indication that the Divine Masculine is doing that. The fact that this card is being shown to us today, what interests me is, I don't know if any of you watched the Divine Masculine karmic reading that I did on Sunday, but we saw the Divine Masculine taking more and more time out away from the karmic So if any of your divine masculines are in a karmic relationship, this sort of makes sense, you know, because it shows him moving away from a situation, taking time for himself to really be clear about how he can move forward. You know, the fact that the owl is in that card means that he's trying to tap into his wisdom at the moment to figure out how he's going to move forward with this family situation. And why do we have the higher self, please? Thank you. Yeah, look, you know, a major change is afoot. Hang on, we've got another card here. Take that in a moment. You know, the Ascended Masters want him to really get in contact with his inner self, which is why he's being encouraged to take that time out and be in hermit mode. They're asking him to really connect with his intuition, to really connect with his heart space, to overcome that fear and be able to move forward, because they know that it's going to be a big change for the Divine Masculine. They know that he's going to have that courage to make what he sees as a big change. The Death card is always about a major transformation, you know. And they're saying that the Divine Masculine can't move forward effectively if he isn't in touch with his true feelings. Okay, so if he keeps denying his feelings, then it's going to stop him from making the changes that he knows he wants, you know. What was this card, please? Yeah, look, he's trying to be creative again. You know, the Page of Cups is about messages. You know, we talked earlier about him maybe stepping forward with a light message, you know. Well, here's a classic example. Here's him, you know, in loving energy. It's Cups energy. It's all about emotions. It's all about him bringing forward a message, or sending you a message maybe, but it's in playful, sort of quite childlike energy. There's creativity around it, you know, so you may get a message or something sent to you that's sort of, I don't know, just light or fun, really. And you may think, well, what's all this about? You know, we need a proper conversation, but he's testing the water. And this is how he's going to do it. He's going to do it sort of creatively. And this is what we felt very much with this forward and backward energy here, you know, that he's testing the water, and he will do this in a creative way. So, do we have, I'm just thinking, shall we carry on with this? No, we shan't. Spirit have said no. Okay, so they're telling me to pull some of these oracles, so let's go for these oracle. Let's just see what the energies of the next sort of month are going to be. What's the sort of overall energy of the next month going to be in this connection, please, Spirit? What's the energy of the next month going to be? Oops. Okay. We have All That Glitters. I'm going to pull the 3 cards. I don't usually do 3 in a twin flame. I don't know why I said 3. That's interesting. We have Peace. And we have Happy, Happy, Happy. Maybe that's why I was... Oh, there's a 4th one. Good. I always feel better when there's a 4th one. The only time I pull 3 is if there's a karmic read. Because there's 3 people involved. But... you know, otherwise I like to pull 4. Now, what is interesting here is it feels like the Divine Masculine is at the stage where he's fed up wearing a mask. He's fed up pretending. He may have gone into a situation, whether he's withdrawn himself from the connection and buried himself in work, maybe he's moved away, maybe, you know, he's just dedicating time to, you know, some members of his family, whatever the circumstances are, or even if he's gone into a karmic relationship, he's realizing that all that glitters isn't gold. Okay, so what he was attracted to initially, it feels like they've just said bored. The Divine Masculine's bored, you know. He's feeling bored with the current circumstances he's in. He knows where he wants to be. He knows that in some instances, he made a mistake. So, you know, him moving away from this connection with his divine feminine, he's realizing was a big mistake. He's ready to take off this mask. Okay, he's fed up wearing it. He's bored. He's bored playing happy families in a situation that he doesn't feel happy in. And all he wants in his life is peace. So he will be striving over the next month to achieve that peace, to make those decisions that he needs to be making, because he wants peace and overall he wants to be happy, you know. He's not happy where he is. So he is striving for happiness. For some of you, divine Fems, he will be watching everything you do. There's a twofold message in this card. I do feel that he's keeping an eye on what's happening with you, and we're seeing that in a lot of readings at the moment, that the divine masculine is worried about losing you, so he's watching everything you do because he's terrified that you're going to move in the other direction and leave him behind, even though for a lot of you he may have already left you behind. You know, he's now wanting to come back, and he's keeping an eye on what you're doing so that he can pick his moment. But he's also, it's not just about picking his moment, because he's having to deal with practicalities in his own circumstances at the moment. He's worried that by the time he can step forward, you may have gone elsewhere. So he's watching you very carefully. But the other meaning for this card that I'm feeling tonight is that he also is keeping an eye on the bigger picture. You know, he's having to weigh up all the pros and cons from all angles. Yes, he feels this deep connection with you. Yes, he wants to walk towards you, but he also has to bear in mind his if there's children involved, he has to bear that in mind. If there's, you know, attitudes of other people around him, he has to manage that. You know, there's all sorts. If there's work commitments, he has to manage that. You know, it may not be as straightforward as you would hope. So, yeah, he's looking at the bigger picture also. But ultimately, he wants to head towards his happiness. So the fact this card makes me very, very happy, because to see that he wants to take off his mask finally, you know, makes me really happy. He is not happy in the situation he's in. He thought it was going to make him happy. It hasn't. So now he wants his peace. He wants his happiness. So interesting times ahead. They've just said to me, pull some angel cards. So I'm going to pull a couple of I was going to go moonology, but they've said no, not today. Let's do the angel cards. So what do you have timings for us? Is this why we have angel cards today? Spirit, please. If you can give us any timings for, you know, contact from the divine masculine, that would be great for those who are separated, but also just guidance. They've said unlikely. The unlikely card is all about things not working in the way that you expect them to. It doesn't mean that it's unlikely to happen. Although they may have been saying to me that it's unlikely they'll give us some timings. And timings, as I said in a previous reading, they're very difficult to work with when I'm doing such a general reading, because obviously all our divine masculines and all the divine feminines are at different stages of their sort of development within their relationships. So, you know, it may be they're saying to me it's unlikely, but also things may not happen in the way that you're actually expecting them to. So, you know, you may just get some random contact that you weren't expecting at all. And they're saying ask for help from others. That really interests me, because at the beginning of this reading we had this card, and I said at the time that I felt that he was actually getting some sort of support, or, you know, from other people that in the past weren't supporting him. But I do feel that maybe some of those people are recognizing that he's not happy. You know, they pushed him into a situation, or pushed him, he's not a child. They actually encouraged him, shall we say, to move in a certain direction because they thought they knew what was best. But actually now there seems to be a realization and this clarity that he's not happy. So they are helping him to plan, is what we're seeing. That is a huge step forward. So, you know, there is help being sought from other people here. What else, please, Spirit? What else do we have? Choose a new direction. Yes. So he's asking for help from others to be able to leave his current circumstances and move in a new direction, because, you know, he knows that the direction he wants to move in is you. So, you know, for some of you, you may hear, and this is why we have the unlikely card here, you may hear via one of his friends or relatives of his plans, which is really random. They might invite you to a party, for example. I don't know, I'm giving examples, but, you know, it may not happen in the way you had anticipated. But look, we have the card of abundance. So, you know, eventually you will actually feel that, you know, everything has come together. You know, abundance isn't only about material wealth. Abundance is also about that love, that joy, about feeling rich within because you're feeling fulfilled. Okay, so yeah, it is all coming together. You know, he is in pursuit of his happiness. We're in pursuit of our happiness, Divine Femme. And at some stage in divine timing, you know, it's going to connect, definitely, without a doubt. There's no room for doubt. No room. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that reading. It was a bit different today. Not helped by the fact that Spirit do insist at the minute of giving me big headaches every time I do twin flame readings. I don't know, they're trying to tell me something. Maybe I'll have to take a break from them for a little while. I don't really fancy doing that, but we'll see. And yeah, I always do a karmic reading on a Sunday if that's interesting to you, for any of you who have a divine masculine in a karmic relationship. But aside from that, if there's any questions you want me to ask around the twin flame connection, then do please drop them in the comments below. Yeah, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that message. Thank you so much for all your support. I really, really do appreciate it. And we'll speak soon. Take care. Bye.